probably don't need this. And then once we get started, will you come help me bring bolsters around to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. And straps. Hello, welcome. We're new to each other. I feel like I recognize everyone, but there were new names on the list today. Have we met? Okay, well, it's nice to see you all. My name's Mariel. I'll facilitate the class. Meanwhile, my son is like texting me. Melissa's here to help. She'll come around and assist verbally, manually if you want it. If you have questions, call her over. She'll come around with props. Mercury's in retrograde, so we will do some restorative. Until Wednesday or Thursday? Anyone know? Anyone like mark the day that Mercury goes direct? I think it's Wednesday. And this is Camden. Camden's on the mat demoing for the folks at home. Hello, folks at home. I don't even think I have you on the iPad. Let me grab you all. And if, you know, there's a moment in class where you're like, what the hell is she talking about? Camden understands me. So look at Camden for a reflection. If you're not sure what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. I do want to do a couple announcements. Oh, yeah, Mercury goes out of retrograde Wednesday because I'm going to sign our Greece yoga retreat contract that day. So if you want to come to Greece with us, we're going July 20th to the 26th. And it's high season in Greece, but the price was like actually somehow more reasonable than I feel like our Mexico prices. So that's good news. I mean, maybe the flights will be more and you might want to extend it, but I feel like it was like between $3,500 and $4,000 for the whole week in Greece. And you could like start saving now if that interests you. Start stashing or stacking paper, as they say. I want to announce that we're starting a teen yoga program with Nicole this fall, I think. It's a 4-week session, and this is a really heavy lift for us. Teens are the hardest market to target. I was just like, I would love to have this programming. I have no idea how we're gonna create this market. So if you have teens or no teens, especially like if they're not your teens, but you're like a psychological auntie or uncle, like you have a lot of power with teens, suggest that they check this out. I think I think what we do in yoga are coping skills for life, really. And I wish that I got into meditation as a teenager, but kind of on my own. I wish I had reached this when I was like 14, 15, that kind of age. So again, if you know anyone, I would really appreciate help spreading the word and spreading the interest. The 200-hour yoga teacher training starts in the fall. The first 50 hours of it are immersion. No need or desire to ever want to teach yoga a day in your life. It's the first 50 hours are geared towards cultivating your awareness of and connection to the voice of the true teacher within you. And it's deep, deep, deep asana practice, pranayama, meditation, history of yoga, philosophy, comparative philosophy, which I think is unique in our program. We do the Gita and the Sutras. The Gita, by the way, I don't know if anyone was following the DNC, but that whole stop complaining and do something, major, major Gita theme. So that's in the first 50 hours, and then the rest of the program is about how you express the voice of the true teacher through you. And then if you're a yoga teacher, we have this like ongoing 300-hour program. We have Baby and Me. We have Foundations of Mindfulness Meditation 4-week series. We have a sound bath with Elizabeth on Sunday the 8th at 6:45. It's going to be Ganesha's birthday in the beginning of, here's our little Ganesha. There's our Ganesha. Ganesha's all over the studio. He's the most beloved elephant-headed deity, the only elephant-headed deity, and one of the most beloved deities of the yoga tradition. He has a 10-day birthday, Virgo-ish. And Anisha's going to be doing Ganesha stories, lessons for Ganesha's birthday on Sunday, September 8th at 5:30. If you're a teacher or a parent interested in the foundations of teaching kids yoga, we have a workshop with Sarah on Saturday, September 7th, 12:30 to 6:30. There's so much. There's like 12 things here about September, so like check your email, look at the Instagram. Anyone else have any announcements? I just joined that like South Philly voter organization, so hopefully we'll be organizing some canvassing and voter registration. And if you are organizing anything like that, this is a great environment to announce that and help share and spread the word and get organized. Because it's Virgo season. And Virgo season, to me, is like about order and getting organized in the service of clarity. So we'll play with that in the alignment in our bodies today. But really, I can't help, since last week, I've been thinking so much just about power dynamics and how we embody power, like how we're experiencing what we see in power dynamics in the world, and how we embody and experience power dynamics within us. And I think last week we were doing Urdhva Dhanurasana, and I was really trying to drive home the point that like the power of that posture is in your legs, and we tend to underutilize the strength and power of the legs when we're trying to get into deeper back bends because we think that the power lies somewhere else, and so we lose connection to the source of power. And just when I kind of like, check in, I try to stay checked in. I try not to check out from the rest of the world. There's like such an overwhelming sense of misuse of power and abuse of power and failure of leadership. And I just always come back to the idea that like change and progress is slow. And I know it's kind of corny and cliche, but like we have to be the change. And I think that if we be the change, we are the kind of grassroots leaders and examples of what we like hope that the next generation is going to embody and like bring to power, right? Power is intrinsic. It's not intrinsically good or bad. It's what you do with your power and how you wield your power. And many of the yoga traditions and meditation traditions are traditions of enlightenment, and just that, enlightenment, like the goal is enlightenment. In our yoga tradition, enlightenment is just like one of the fruits of the practice. In addition, it's like, and you always hear me say this in the beginning of class, like we turn our awareness to the breath ignites the heart illuminates the mind and the body, and that's how we experience enlightenment. And it's not a destination, it's like an ongoing practice and path. In addition to enlightenment, it's a practice of empowerment, and it's about how we empower ourselves to embody our power and experience our power and express our power for the greater good. And then the greater good brings us to like the engagement in and of the world. So we're gonna play with that in today's practice, and we'll just really in the sense and spirit of Virgo season, we'll try to get like really organized about where power lives in each pose, in us in each pose, and try to really wield it in ways that have positive impact, that like make you feel really powerful and like you want to do something good with that power. Any requests? Just a few more days of retrograde, y'all. We're gonna do restorative too, because there's a lot of power in restoration, and we don't, the culture does not empower us to restore, does not empower us to rejuvenate. So it's so important that we reclaim the power in restoration and rejuvenation and rest. There's power in rest. Make yourself as comfortable as humanly possible. Can have a comfortable seat, recline if you prefer, sit against a wall. And taking the time to make yourself comfortable empowers you to more fully arrive, to become more fully present, to notice where you are, what supports you in your seat, in your presence, to notice how you are. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? How does it feel? And herein an opportunity, really an invitation to receive yourself more fully, to receive all parts of yourself, your strength, your power, even the sides or parts or aspects of yourself that might feel weak or powerless. As we'll learn from one of Ganesha's stories, this is like a bit of a preview. He has a broken tusk. It's like considered a disfigurement aspect of being broken. And he uses his broken tusk to scribe the Mahabharata, the greatest, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, IMO, epic of all time. And so he uses his brokenness, or rather his brokenness empowers him to give to the world something of eternal beauty and value. Imagine that there's even power, or especially there's power in the places where we feel disempowered or broken or wounded. Imagine that. Look for the breath, always present, and invite a deeper breath in and down. Let it fill you up. And a longer breath out. Let your outer body soften and settle, becoming more sensitive, more receptive to the energy of the breath that fills us, surrounds us, and connects us to each other and all that is. As you deepen the breath deepens you. The prana, the breath is like the most accessible form of what we refer to as prana in the yoga tradition, the life force energy, the source of vitality, the energy that enlivens us and empowers us, it animates us. And the physical practice of yoga is an opportunity to align ourselves, engage ourselves, and stretch ourselves through aligned engagement in order to enhance and optimize and maximize our capacity for breath, for energy, for life, really for power. We bring the hands together before the heart in Anjali Mudra in a gesture of sincere self-reverence that acknowledges and honors the voice of the true teacher, never further than the heart, that this aspect of ourselves can be the lens and the filter through which we experience and express this power. We place the heart before us as a guide for at least the time we spend together. And together we set the tone for the practice by sharing the voices of our hearts, the power of the heart, and the sound of Om. And of course, feel free to join into the sound or just let it wash over you. Deep breath in. Bow to your heart. Keeping that connection inward, unwavering, release the hands. Blink open the eyes. And let's come onto all fours to start in a tabletop position. You could pad your knees with a blanket. Bring your hands to the top of your mat. For the new folks and newer folks, everything I offer to you and everything I say or offer is an invitation, not an obligation. So please feel free, encouraged, empowered to take it or leave it. This is your practice, you do you. And spectate, modify, hydrate as needed. As you exhale, round your back. As you inhale, arch. Notice what you feel what you notice. And take some time here and now to notice if there's anything in particular that you need or want from your practice of yoga today. Where are you hungry or thirsty for a sense of feeling more power or more empowered in your body, in your heart, in your mind, in your life? And as you dial into the fabric of the body, at the same time, allow yourself to become more sensitive, more receptive to whatever it is your practice has to offer to you today. When you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Can pedal the feet a little from side to side, stretch through the soles of the feet and the backs of the legs. Melissa, I know this is going to sound crazy, but if it's possible, I'd love everyone to have 2 bolsters. So I'll come around with the second. We're like not that many people today, and spirit of maximizing. If there's not, we can also use blocks in place of bolsters. Slow breath in through the nose. Slow breath out through the nose. On your next inhale, float the right leg high to the sky. And with your exhale, step it through to lunge. Feel both feet on the ground. And as you inhale, energetically pull your feet towards each other. Feel the legs engage from the ground all the way up into the hips. And from the pelvis, as you root down through your legs, inhale, reach up, stretch up. Fingertips to the sky. Okay. Feel both feet on the ground. Soften the brow. Lift your back heel to the sky. Lift your back knee and thigh to the sky. Feel the back leg charge up. As you charge up through the back leg, reach up through your thumbs more. Notice how every time you consciously bring your awareness to a meticulous place, how much more power you get. Lift the back heel, stretch up through the thumbs. Keep that and let the top of the front thigh descend. One more breath. And on an exhale, you can plant your hands, take it back to downward facing dog. Notice any newfound space as you pedal the feet from side to side. As you inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Pause, feel both feet on the ground. Pull your feet energetically towards each other, and you'll feel the legs engage. Feel the strength and power through your legs from the ground all the way into the hips. Keeping that from the core of the pelvis, push down through your legs as though you're not just pressing into your mat, but you're rooting into the earth. On an inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Pause for a breath. Become sensitive and receptive to the energy that fills us, surrounds us, connects us, the breath. And as you inhale, lift the back heel, knee, and thigh higher to the sky. Stretch up through the thumbs. Keep that as the front thigh descends. One more time, linking breath with action to feel more power. As you inhale, the back heel, knee, and thigh lifts up. Press your thumbs to the sky. And with the exhale, the front thigh descends. On your next exhale, plant the hands, downward facing dog. I think we're gonna make it. So everyone's gonna find that they have 2 bolsters. Don't get too excited, this is coming towards the end of class. But you can actually leave them out at the end of class. You don't have to schlep them back because it's rare that we use all the bolsters, and I want to clean the floor before we put them back. It's just a good Virgo activity. On your inhale, come to the top of a plank. Look at your hands. We're going to be meticulous. Any Virgos in the room? I love the way, my husband and I opened a coffee shop, and he would come in every morning, this is 15 years ago almost, and put all the handles facing the same directions on all the mugs. And it did just create kind of an order and a clarity. So spread the fingers evenly. Is there more space between any of the fingers, and can you spread them evenly? Now claw the fingertips. Can you spread the toes and lift the heels higher? Yes, and as you lift the heels higher, can you lift your thighs higher? And as you lift your thighs higher, can you reach your heart forward, like out into the future? Keep your thighs lifted, the balls of your feet rooted, claw the fingertips, and reach your heart forward, breathing all the while. On your exhale, the right leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge, follow your breath. Take the back heel to the ground and inhale for warrior two. Now from the fingertips, imagine you're drawing long gloves, pulling energy up your arms into your heart. Draw the shoulder blades together. And as you draw the shoulder blades together, pull the feet towards each other. And this is like anytime you hug in like this, it's a gesture of plugging into your intrinsic power. When you draw to the midline, when you hug to the center, you're plugging into your intrinsic power. As you push through your back foot, bend the front leg and guide the front knee open. Turn your right palm to the sky, and on an inhale, reverse your warrior. Slide the left fingertips down the left leg as you reach the right arm up and back. You're stretching out of the right hip, the right waistline, and the right fingertips are trying to touch the back of the room as the front thigh descends, and you guide the front knee open. Inhale through center, push your front leg straight, and with your exhale, right fingertips to the block inside or outside your front leg for triangle pose. Jared, turn your back toes in a little. Linking breath and action as you inhale, pull your feet towards each other. Find and feel the strength and power of your legs. Keep the legs strong as you exhale, lean back on your shoulder blades. Maybe even play with closing the eyes, softening the brow, and as you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. Legs strong, and with a strong foundation, lean back on the shoulder blades with the exhale to open the heart. On your next exhale, pass through lunge and find downward facing. Feel the difference from side to side. Notice any that you have accessed. Granted your own self-empowerment, the way in which you have the power to weave together the power of the mind, body, and heart in order to experience yourself more deeply and receive yourself more fully. Now float the left leg to the sky. With your exhale, catch the lunge. I love this nail game. No, thanks. It's great. Back heel to the ground, warrior two. And just take your time in the setup to get organized, to draw from the fingertips up the arms into the heart, to draw the shoulder blades together, to hug the feet towards each other, to sense that way in which you can plug yourself into yourself and create a sense of feeling of self-security, self-stability, the power, the connection to the power within. It's okay to touch? And as you pull the feet towards each other, bend the front leg deeper, guide the front knee open, turn the left palm up, and as you reach up and back through the left fingertips, slide the right fingertips towards the right ankle. Yes. Keep the right shoulder blade sliding to the left shoulder blade to right shoulder blade. Stay organized. Pull the feet towards each other. Keep that plugging into power sense as you bend the front leg deeper and guide that front knee open. On the inhale, come through center, push the front leg straight. Exhale, left fingertips to the floor or a block. I recommend the block. The same actions. Pose. With the inhale, we're pulling the feet towards each other to find and feel the strength of the legs, to engage the power of the legs in ways that make us feel supported and stable and grounded. And with the legs strong, you have the power to lean back on your shoulder blades to safely open the chest, the lungs, the heart. Even close the eyes, rest the head back. If closing the eyes makes you feel wobbly, just really pull the feet towards each other for strength and stability and lean back on the shoulders. One last breath here. And on the exhale, turn through your low lunge and take it back to downward dog. Inhale for plank. We're gonna be here. Lower one or both knees as needed, but as best you can, for as long as you can, utilize the strength and power of your legs. The only time this pose starts to feel like hard or you feel weak is because we're letting go of the power in the legs. Lift your heels, lift your knees, lift your thighs, lift your head. You keep all that and you can reach forward through the heart endlessly. If you want more big if, right foot comes off the floor, point the right foot, squeeze the legs together to hold your power. Yes, right foot down, left foot up. This is also like very great prenatal strength training. Point the left foot. You don't have to lift the left leg high, just let it like hover. Squeeze it to the right leg and left foot down, downward dog. Find on your inhale, float. Exhale, catch your lunge. Pivot the feet to the left. Find your strap and we'll find a shoulder stretch. Take your hands behind your back, strap between your hands. The strap is there to give you just as much space between your hands as needed to empower a connection of the shoulder blades to the back of the heart. The palms are facing the sky, and as you reach your arms to the sky, hug the shoulder blades together. Keep that. So just arms to the sky at first. Come back to your legs. The power of every pose is in your legs. Your legs are the most powerful part of you, and they tend to kind of dip out here and there. As you inhale, pull the feet towards each other. Feel your legs engage on all four sides. And with the leg strong, anchor the tailbone down, and now let the forearms go towards the floor overhead. Reach the wrists towards the floor overhead. Little bend in the elbows. And as you inhale, pull your feet towards each other. And as you exhale, try to pull your hands apart. One more of the deepest, fullest breaths. Head heavy, legs strong. And on your exhale, release the hands. Keep the strap handy because we're going to do it again on the second side. Turn the right knee and toes through lunge. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Push through the arms to lift up through the hips and ground through the heels. Notice and to occupy any new within your interior landscape. Notice the ways in which breath and the light of awareness on the currents of the breath can flow more deeply, more fully, more freely in you as you through you. From the upper back especially, push through the arms to lift through the hips. As you inhale, float the left leg to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Pivot your feet to the right for the wide-legged forward fold. Make sure your feet are parallel. Sometimes one or both feet want to turn out a little bit and that the knees aren't locked. Like put a tiny bend in your knees that can't be seen but can be felt. Take the strap behind the back. Take your time when you're taking the strap to the back of the hips or waist. The backs of your hands should be touching your body and the palms of the hands facing the sky. And then wrap your hands around the strap. Draw the shoulder blades together, reach the arms to the sky, chest lifts, and as you exhale, fold, let the forearms get heavy overhead. Belly breathing through your nose. As you inhale, belly, sides of the waist, back of the waist expands, pull the feet towards each other. And as you exhale, the belly softens, anchor the tailbone down and feel the whole spine extend. Crown towards the earth, brow soft, jaw soft, throat soft. On your exhale, gently release. Turn the left knee and toes through lunge and take it back to downward facing dog. Feet hips width apart. Slowly, slowly start to walk your hands towards your feet. They'll come towards the back of your mat. Look at your feet, make them parallel. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. As you inhale, reach the heart forward. As you exhale, fold. Bend the legs a lot and bring your elbows to your thighs. Bend your legs a lot, like you're sitting back into a preschool chair. Take your butt back, tailbone back, so you feel the low back, the top of the sacrum draw in and up. Bring your palms to your outer shins and push your shins in. And as you push your shins in with the strength of your arms, press your inner knees and thighs out. Can you feel that? Into that space, the tailbone lengthens down. Imagine your hands are still bracing your shins in. You're just going to reach the arms out. Suck the arm bones in like you're sucking your armpits in. Lift your head a little bit, and now biceps to the ears. Oh, ribs to the back of the room. Seat down. Inhale, push through strong legs, stand tall. Ooh. Exhale, hands to heart. Perhaps close your eyes if that feels okay for you. Turn your gaze inward to see more clearly the rhythmic beating of your heart, the currents of your breath. Feel both feet on the ground. Softly blink open the eyes as you release the hands. Wait for the breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your legs a lot so that the fingertips can touch the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, sit deeper, brow soft. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, hands to heart. You know that lather, rinse, repeat thing? Release the hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your legs so much the fingertips tap the earth. Change nothing in the legs. Reach the arms up. Exhale, how low can you go? Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one. Release the hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the legs. Fingertips tap the earth. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit deep. Inhale, stand tall. That was awesome. Exhale, hands to heart. Eyes softly opened or softly closed. Reconnect to the rhythmic beating of your heart as it reverberates from inside out in all directions. Release the hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the legs a lot. Fingertips touch the floor. Walk your fingertips forward a little bit, and as you lean into your fingertips, press your thigh bones to the back of the room. Reach your heart to the front of the room, called Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, fold, bow to your heart. Inhale, walk it out to downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Big breath in, reach the thighs up, the heart forward. And as you exhale, just lower your knees down and sit back on your heels. Have a sip of water. Oh yeah. It's been a while for this corner. How's that for the perfect amount though? Okay, pad your knees with a blanket as needed. We're going to take a bolster, tuck the toes, take the bolster over the calves, and then bring your blocks. I have long arms. I'm just going to show this on me and then hand them to Camden. Your blocks kind of outside and just behind your feet. Toes are tucked under. How we doing? So the bolster's just going over your calves. So this is called Vajrasana. Toes tucked. Press your heels back. Knees, hips width apart or together. The tendency is going to be for the knees to splay. Hug the knees together. And on the inhale, rise up. We'll bring the hands to the back of the waist. Draw the shoulders up and back. And with your hands on your hips or the back of the waist, you really want to press the pelvis down as you lift up through the rib cage and heart. Slide the palate back. We're going to do Ustrasana, camel pose. And it's nice when the bolster is here because you can bring your fingertips to the bolster and it makes it not as intense. If you want more, bring your fingertips to the blocks outside your feet. The tailbone's lengthening down as the knees hug in. The knees hug in, the tailbone lengthens, and the bottom tips of the shoulder blades press the bottom of your heart forward and up as the palate moves up and back. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to sit back on your bolster. Questions, comments, concerns, conundrums? Anyone feel like their head is loosely attached to the rest of their body? I feel like that for a long time. So for many years, probably even a decade, I always did this pose with my hands supporting my head because I just didn't have the neck strength and stability to feel like my head was firmly attached to the rest of my body. This is a lot about my character in those years too. So an alternative is hands behind the head. We can all do this. We did a lot of this last week and on Wednesday. Hug the shoulder blades together. Hug the knees together. Press your hands into your head and your head into your hands. And when you do that, can you feel the empowerment of the muscles all around the upper back and neck? We want to keep that. Inhale to hug the knees together. Exhale, press your head into your hands. Inhale, hug the knees together. Exhale, push your head into your hands. One more time. Inhale, hug the knees together. Exhale, push your head into your hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit back. Was that different? Okay, so that's always an alternative way to practice Ustrasana. Again, I did it that way for at least a decade, or else I was kind of like this in the pose, and I was like, I just don't get it. And I'd come up and see stars. And if you've been with me a long time, I used to think that was the bliss of consciousness, but it's actually just cutting off oxygen to your brain. So really important to, resource yourself, find and give yourself the support you need to stay aligned in and with your power. Let's come forward and point the feet. Try to bring the heels all the way together. Snap the heels together and sit back on the bolster. The bolster is friendlier, actually, way of doing this. I'm not sure how many of you are actually experiencing that. It adds a little softness. I just think we have the bolsters. Notice if the heels came apart a little bit, squeeze the heels in. You don't have to come out, just try to squeeze the heels in. The hugging to the midline is always the drawing towards your intrinsic power. If you have the heels splay a little bit, try to hug the heels back in. Then we'll come forward. Tuck the toes, press the heels back. One last Ustrasana here. You can either have hands to the hips, palms to the back of the waist, hands to the back of the head. Hug the knees to the midline with every inhale. Exhale, take the palate back, the heart lifts. Inhale, hug the knees to the midline. Exhale, curl in the upper back, not the lower back. So the thighs are moving back, but the pelvis is moving forward. The armpits are moving back, but the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are moving forward. You gotta be meticulous in the alignment here. Maybe fingertips to the floor or blocks for Ustrasana. One more of the deepest, fullest breaths here. And on the inhale, lift from your heart all the way up and sit back on the bolster, feet flexed or pointed, whichever one suits you. Questions, comments, concerns? My knees and feet are hips width apart. Those are great questions. So for folks at home, the question was, are the feet together? Can you see my feet with the bolster there? No, I'm okay. You could also just do it without the bolster. So this pose is often, I don't know if I'm on the camera, the pose is often taught traditionally with the feet pointed, but what will often happen is the feet will sickle there, and so with the toes tucked, you just get more meticulous alignment for free. You're much more likely to lose, leak power when the feet are pointed and sort of sickling out here, and you'll pay for that in the low back. You won't be as deep, but you'll be more organized around alignment and safety and power when the toes are tucked under. And then the knees hug in, and maybe hands to the blocks or to the feet. Maybe we'll do one more Ustrasana. You start to bring your hands towards your knees. Does that make sense? So, there's like stages, and especially like if there's a bun in the oven, you don't want to overstretch these ligaments. The rest of you don't have to worry about that so much, but you have to be far more concerned about your lower back. Again, tucking the toes will help to protect the low back, but the blocks there, make it like a real sort of gentle restorative version. And then maybe you take even just the blocks down a notch, maybe down a notch. So you just go step by step, like phases of the moon, just like sliver by sliver, holding to your power, standing your ground so you're not like leaking energy, losing power for the sake of like the form, right? You want to try one more time? Ustrasana. And again, I love the hands behind the head version. And sky's the limit there as well, just to be demonstrative. I haven't done this in a long time. I'm not super warmed up. Yeah, so I'll say this, I won't do this, but with the hands here, you can get to the point where your head touches the floor. Ugh. Actually, I haven't done a physical practice in like 2 weeks. It's a long time for me. Ugh. Feels good. So if you are supporting your head in this way, find your limits, know your limits, empower your boundaries, and at the same time know that your head could go all the way to the floor there. Imagine that. You don't have to do that, but you can imagine that. So bolster over the calves. I'm gonna walk around and look and just sort of teach more to what I see here. Toes tucked under. Feet are hips width apart. Find your breath. Hands to the hips or to the back of the waist or to the back of the head. Shoulder blades up and back. As you inhale, hug the knees towards each other. Exhale, lean back, curl back. Inhale, hug the knees in. The power here is in your legs. That is the key. Exhale, lean back, curl back. Stay in your legs. Think thighs back, pelvis forward. Hug the knees in to go back. Gorgeous. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, walk your hands forward. Can you find a child's pose? It's nice to have the bolster there. You can ditch it if you prefer. It's a little counter pose. Breathe into the backs and sides of your waist. Inhale, you can move your props to the side if they're not already, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Right leg through to pigeon prep. We'll take the right knee behind the right wrist. If you prefer a low lunge, just step it through to lunge and lower the back knee. And if you're in pigeon, let's bring the blocks high to frame the hips. And if you're in low lunge, bring your blocks high inside your front foot. And now just like in Ustrasana camel pose, tuck the back toes. You'll get more engagement of power of muscle in the back leg for free and get more weight on the outer edge of the back knee. And as you inhale, pull the knees towards each other so much that you can lift and square your hips. So it actually feels like you're lifting up, not sinking. Inhale, pull the knees towards each other so much you feel that you're lifting off of your mat rather than sinking onto your mat. And the more you do that, as you inhale, hug the knees in, maybe reach the arms up. Is it okay to touch, Caroline? There, are you okay? And now anchor the tailbone and draw your, yes, feel the difference? That's awesome. On an exhale, plant your hands, downward facing dog. You can take that right leg high to the sky, open it up, wag it if you like. Just keep that left armpit lifting, yes. And on the inhale, extend the right leg, right foot meets the left foot. And when you're ready, let's take the left side through to pigeon prep or low lunge. If you're opting for pigeon prep, blocks high, framing your hips. If you're opting for lunge, blocks high inside your front foot. In your pigeon prep, we want to take the left knee as wide to the left as you can. It doesn't matter how far forward or back the foot is. We just want that left knee wider than the left hip. And then tuck the back toes under. Firmly feel the ball of your back foot on the floor and get more weight on the outer knee. And now linking action as you inhale, pull the knees towards each other so much you feel yourself lifting off the mat. Keep it as you exhale. Every inhale, you're hugging in like 10 times more, like drilling deeper and deeper into your core power by pulling from periphery into core. And the more you do it and can keep it, you can reach your arms up to the sky. Every inhale, pull the back knee forward, reach up through the thumbs. Keep the lift, the engagement, the power, even as you exhale. On your next exhale, plant the hands. The dog, feel free to pass in the top leg, wag the retrograde, so we're doing repeat actions. We'll have the and let's just make sure the left knee and foot is right in line with the left hip. The left foot kind of tends to splay out to the left, and then we're drifting away from the midline. We're drifting away from the central channel of power, and we diminish our experience of intrinsic power. So tuck the back toes under, get the back knee more to the midline, the back foot more to the midline. And then as you inhale, pull the back knee forward, bend the back leg, heel to butt cheek, and with your left hand, find your left foot. Draw the left shoulder up and back, right shoulder blade to the left shoulder blade, maybe right hand to the right thigh. As you pull the back knee forward, you can slide your palate back, as though you're going to kind of like close the loop between the crown and the toe. Step lifted, right arm to the sky. That comes from the power utilization of your legs. Pull the knees towards each other to take flight. Please. Dog. You know it and love it. It's not necessary. It's a chaser. Left side through to pigeon or low lunge. Blocks high inside the front leg in low lunge or framing the hips in pigeon. Now, like the key in pigeon, you want to look over the right shoulder, get organized, like all the coffee handles facing the right direction, or whatever someone's opinion of the right direction is. You want to bring that back knee right in line with the hip socket, the foot right in line with the knee and hip, toes tucked under. And then a little more weight to the outer edge of the knee. That's nuanced, that's meticulous. You can even close your eyes and feel, where is the weight on the back knee? Get more to the outer edge. And can you keep that and now link breath and action as you inhale, pull the knees towards each other so much the hips lift up. Take flight through the strength and power of your legs. Maybe as you bend the back leg, right hand for right foot, the left arm touches the sky. Every inhale, pull the knees towards each other to uplift yourself. And as you uplift yourself, the tailbone's got to lengthen, the bottom ribs draw up and back, the shoulder girdle up and back, the crown up and back. One more of the deepest, fullest breaths here. And on an exhale, gently release. Take it back through dog in the style of you, counter pose as you like. Push through the arms to lift through the hips and ground through the heels. On the inhale, float the right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it through to lunge. Reach your hands out to blocks a little bit in front of you, like Camden's are kind of perfect right there. Right knee directly over the right ankle. And Layla, you can bring your blocks more inside your front leg for this, like over to the left. There you go, just to kind of clear baby. Lift the back heel high. Right knee and toes point straight ahead. Lift the back inch off the floor, just an inch. Good, and lift it up an inch and tap it to the earth, and lift it up an inch and tap it to the earth. Nothing changes in the front leg. Lift the back foot an inch. Good, now push your front leg straight. Laylee, walk your blocks forward, as much as you can. Turn your back toes in and lift from the inner back thigh. As you exhale, super slow motion, bend your front leg halfway. Keep your back leg lifted. Bend your more, reach back through your back leg. And we're going to bring the back foot to the earth by bending the front leg. Yes, downward facing dog. Did we feel anything in the legs there? Ish. Pedal it out a little bit from side to side. And then even just lower the knees and take a rest. And so the conditioning, or like the idea of the conditioning, is to show us there's more strength and power in our legs than we ordinarily realize. We tend to take a lot of that strength and power that is foundational for granted. Our legs are the biggest, strongest part of ourselves. And when we lose that awareness of connection to the power of our legs, we tend to feel ungrounded or unstable or insecure. Anyone ever felt those very human things? And so somatically, we got to really put the light of awareness into the legs to ground ourselves, to stabilize ourselves, to recognize the source of our own security and power. And then when we really kind of play on the tendency for disconnection or weakness in the legs, it's going to reveal to us that even in power dynamics and muscle relationships, there's certain muscles that have more power, and so their tendency is to dominate. And they do that to support us and protect us, those muscles. But what happens is when those muscles override the deeper core muscles of the legs, then what do you feel in those conditioning? Anyone feel a little shaky? Or burning, the fire of I like to call it the fire of transformation. So I love to be able to do things where I can find where I feel weak or leak power so that I can do something about it. To do something, not just be oh, my glute medius is so weak and I get low back pain. That's what I complain about personally. It's oh, but then I can do things to strengthen my glute medius. For some of us, it's the piriformis, the glute minimus. The hamstrings tend to be tight and weak. The quads tend to be tight and weak. So we want to really make sure that we're giving awareness and energy and resources to all the muscles of the legs so that they can work in relationships that are empowering. It's microcosm. The macro is the micro and the micro is the macro. Downward facing dog. So in other words, be interested, be curious, be invested, even love the parts of you that are powerful and the parts of you that feel weak. Because when we recognize these aspects, the relationships as such within ourselves, we can do something about it, can bring it into more balance and harmony. On an inhale, float your left leg to the sky. With the exhale, catch your lunge. Walk your hands just a little bit out in front of you for counter stability and weight. So the blocks are just out in front of you to where you feel you can kind of lean into them a little bit and push into the blocks. Left knee and toes point straight ahead. Push into the blocks so much you can feel like you can lift your belly up a little bit. And now front knee is bent in lunge. Just lift your back foot a centimeter off the floor. Oh, yes, just a little bit. And from right there, lift your back leg an inch from the thigh. And exhale, tap it down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, tap it down. Lift from the inner thigh, bend the front leg deeper. Yes. And now push the front leg straight to elevate your back leg. Flex your back foot, turn the back toes in. Squeeze the back leg to the midline. Draw it closer to your power. And now lift the inseam of the leg 1 more inch. Keep the inseam of the leg lifting. Change nothing in the lifted leg. But bend the standing leg a lot as you reach back through your lifted leg. The back foot comes down from the front leg bending. We still friends? Downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Lower the knees down and come onto your back. Find your strap and make a loop in your strap that doesn't come undone. It's going to be hips width apart. So you just touch these frontal hip bones, and that's about how wide you want your strap. Melissa's coming around with straps if you don't have one. If you're struggling with the loop, just call me over. I'm happy to help. And then once we have a loop in the strap that's hips width apart, we're going to take it over the thighs, right around the thighs. I don't know. You might want it a little tighter than that. It's going to go right above the thighs. How are you feeling laying on your back? Do you want a little bit of an incline? Okay. So the place, scoot your coolie, your butt forward, or like towards the back. And now you would start with your sacrum, your low back, like right about here, but if that doesn't feel good, you'll scooch away from it until you find a comfortable spot. Does that feel okay for you? Okay, and then you just adjust that way as needed. Okay, anyone need help? Call me over. So when you push, actually bring it like a little tighter than hips width. I'm so sorry, I should have said this. Bring it a little tighter than hips width so that when you push out into the strap, your legs don't go wider than hips width. Does that make sense? So it should feel like it's really like holding your legs to the midline. It's helping you to hold the legs to the midline. Feel the feet on the floor, hips width apart, right underneath the knees, feet parallel. And then Laylee, for you here, you can just do the action of pressing your knees out and see how that feels on your hips and pelvis. You don't have to come up since you're on support. As you stand through the feet, bend the elbows alongside the waist in preparation for bridge pose. Press the elbows down to lift the chest up and wriggle the shoulder blades together. Press the center back of the skull into the earth. It's like we did when we had the hands behind the head in Ustrasana. When you push your head into the ground, you should feel the muscles of the back of the neck and upper back activate. Keep that as you stand through your feet to lift your hips up. Notice if the chin just dropped down as the hips lifted, lift your chin a little bit. You can let the palms come to rest anywhere on your midsection. And as you inhale, feel the belly expand. As you exhale, belly softens, push your feet down and forward. And walk your feet in a little bit. A lot of you, your heels are just a little forward of your knees, okay? You can stay right, extend your right leg straight to the back of the room like you're gonna make a footprint on the wall. Press the center back of the big breath in, and as you exhale, press your left foot down and forward. Right foot to the floor, your left leg. Big breath in. As you exhale, press your right foot down and forward. Nice. Left foot to the floor and lower down. Any questions? Okay, so last week we were working on the awkward place between bridge pose and upward facing bow pose. That's where we're going next. This week we have the strap around the thighs to help us in the legs a little bit more. So we want the feet right underneath the knees. We'll come around and help with that. Yours are a little close. Walk your feet out a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Yep. Because when I said to walk them in, then some people ended up with them a little too far in. It's like it's just to say that this is the season for being meticulous. And when you line things up in a particular way, in a meticulous way, in service to the alignment, you're actually going to find and feel and experience more power. It's pretty incredible, like what a difference, a little difference can make. Bend the elbows alongside. Press the elbows down, press the center back of your skull down. Feel the muscles of the upper, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm just bringing this over in case. I'm like, is that a preference or just a choice? Press the center back of the skull down and feel how that engagement of the muscles, those little muscles between the vertebrae, help to lift the heart a little bit more. As you press the elbows down, stand through the feet to lift the hips up. As you press the feet down and forward, can you wriggle the shoulder blades in a little bit deeper? Devora, take your strap closer to your knees. Can I step over you? Okay. I've done this one with you before. Okay. Push through your legs. Yeah, there it is. That's the way. Now, the key here is to change nothing in the shoulders. Press the center back of the skull down. Lift the chin a little bit. Nice adjustment, Alana. Walk your feet forward a tiny bit, right there. Up the ceiling. Okay, now lift the elbows, but not the shoulders. And slow motion, you're going to bring your fingertips to touch the floor outside your ears. Change nothing in the shoulders, just the fingertips. Take your hands a little wider. Turn your fingers out a little bit. Make sure nothing changed in the shoulders. Lift the chin a little bit. Through your legs, walk your feet in a little bit. Push through your legs. Lift the chin. Push through your legs. Maybe roll to the top of your head. Maybe push to the top of your head. Yes, you gotta push through your legs, and now the palms can come flat. Push through your legs and arms to come up. Maybe head lifts an inch. Maybe arms get straight. If the arms become straight, push through your legs, straighten your legs, straighten your arms. And then same way you came in, slowly bend the elbows, crown of the head to the floor. Lower your hips a little bit, tuck your chin, lower back to the floor, and rest. Awkward, yeah? I mean, and the idea and the key is to just slow it down so much that there's no chance of disconnecting from your intrinsic power in those transitions. When we bend over backwards, it's really easy to lose connection to the foundation, to lose sight of what supports us and empowers us. And that's, how and when we get injured or hurt. So you just got to slow it down, at least on our mats, and to see how that might translate into our lives, to go so slow that we do have the power to stretch ourselves in ways that maybe felt unimaginable at another time in life. But it's important to do so safely and sustainably. That's non-injury. How do we move in ways that minimize injury, that minimize harm, that minimize violence? How do we use our power in ways to minimize harm, injury, and violence? Any questions on it before we do it again? Where should the strap be on the legs? Just above the knees, because the tendency is for the knees to splay. So you're really trying to hold the thighs together right above the knees. Does that make sense? And we go slow motion in the arms and make it really awkward so that you're not because we think that this pose is defined by and limited by or achieved by the strength of the arms. And what I'm trying to say is that and that is intuitive. There's nothing not intuitive about that. The thing is that the pose is counterintuitive. So many of the poses are counterintuitive. Urdhva Dhanurasana is not at all about the strength of your arms. If you can do downward dog, plank pose, L pose, your arms are strong enough. The power has got to come from your legs. And it's so hard when we're sort of bending over backwards and upside down to remember the strength of our legs and to not only remember it, to find the strength of the legs. So that's the do something part. It's like, you know now from today's class that your legs are strong. Now, how do you do the legs in a hard moment? Bend the elbows alongside the waist in preparation for bridge pose. Press the elbows up. Press the center back of the skull down to activate the little muscles in the spine. And when you're ready, stand through your feet to lift your hips up, bridge pose. You can stay right here. Be the instrument of connection. Breathe. Bless you. Feel. Carrie, walk your feet out a little bit. Devora, walk your feet in a little bit. Just a little. Okay, when the hips lift, the chin tends to drop. Lift the chin. That's going to help keep the upper back engaged. And now palms to the sky, ceiling, shoulders back, head back, shoulders back, the leg. Elbows point to the sky. Feel how the hands are turning in. Elbows point to the sky. Turn the hands out. Fingertips to the floor. Push through your legs to roll to the top. Push through your legs to pump your heart forward. Armpits back. Push through your legs as you press your arms up towards straight. Turn your hands out. The arms are straight and vertical. If you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, push through. And upper back kisses the earth. Push through the legs and arms. One more time, either crown of the head or upper back. These are called Urdhva Dhanurasana push-ups. And then rest. Undo the strap, but try not to pull your knees right in towards your chest. Take your feet as wide as the mat. And Layla, you look happy and comfy there. You can stay there, or you can join us for this next one. Knees bend to the mat. Let both knees fall gently to the right. Totally optional to place the right foot on top of the left thigh. That's optional. Like 5 of the deepest, fullest breaths that require the least amount of lifts you. Feel how you ground with the exhale. Inhale the legs through center. Let both knees fall gently to the left. Option to place the left foot on top of the right thigh. Five of the deepest, fullest breaths at your own pace that require the least amount of effort. And the inhale, when you're ready, draw the legs up through center. Roll all the way to the right side and come up to seated. Good news is, this is going to take like a little bit of mental effort, the restorative poses, but not a lot of physical effort. So the first choice, and this is going to be knees permitting. So if you have knee stuff, I'll give an alternative, or you might have like one good knee, and one good knee can be in this. Maybe I'll just demonstrate, and then I'll demonstrate on myself, and then I'll talk you through it with Camden. So I'm going to come onto all fours and bring my knees hips width apart and my feet outer hips width apart and pointed. And then I'm going to take my pubic bone back, and leading with my pubic bone, sit between the heels. Hear my knee pop? And the tendency, again, I showed it in Ustrasana, the feet want to sickle. That means like the shape of a sickle. You don't want your feet to sickle. You want your outer heels hugging your outer hips. This is called Virasana, hero's pose. If your tush doesn't come all the way to the floor, you'll either just take a block or the edge of your bolster or the edge of a blanket, as much as you need and as little as you need to be in Virasana. And we'll just do a little bit of breath work here. This is a counter pose to the back bends. It's a stage 1 forward bend. I want to make sure everyone can get in here happily. And if neither knee is going to do this, you can come into a supported malasana with support. So that's one block. You could take a block on a higher height. You could stack 2 blocks, and we'll do the breath work here. That's just a great supported counter pose for the deep back bends. If the deep back bends just feel like they've warmed you up for more, then the alternative is Supta Virasana. We sit between the heels, and you can start to lie back. You can add a heart bench here if you know it and love it. You could be on your forearms. You can come all the way onto your back, hands on the midsection. The knees are going to want to splay, so you really got to hold the knees together. You're welcome to even take the strap around the knees together if you want. And then the full pose would be arms overhead. Okay, but it should feel easeful, okay, so that we can do a little bit of breath work. And then when we come out of it, just so you know where we're going, two blocks. After all legs, these are heavy. It's too high. Well, me and Melissa will come around to help you with this. I don't want your heels higher than your knees, but I don't want your heels not supported here. Legs up. Oh yeah, see, now that I lay down, I can see that I do want them a little bit higher. We'll come around and help you with the blocks under your heels. Oh, thank you. I might not get up now. Also, your hands are so warm. Oh my God, I love you. This is a rarity in a Mariel Freeman class, but the legs up, Shavasana. But also, you know, this time of year, just against a wall at home, 5 minutes a day, legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. So we'll do Shavasana with our legs up. If it doesn't suit you, spread yourself out in your corpse pose. You do you. It's an invitation to have your legs up. I'll talk you through all of it. Let's start by having your blocks handy and having your props handy. Come on to all fours. Bring your knees together and your feet pointed, outer hips width apart. So you're making like a V, okay? Your knees are together and your feet are apart. And then sticking your butt out like your pubic bone is an arrow. Take your pubic bone back to the floor between your feet. And then sit up on as much support as you need and as little support as you need. Virasana, hero's pose. And this is one of those ones, like, I thought I would never be able to do Virasana. I just kind of was like, I'm going to 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day watch the news. I was starting to watch the news in my 20s. And do like 5 minutes in Virasana and then 10 minutes and then the whole segment. So daily practice. It's called hero's pose. If you're on support, stay upright. If your butt's all the way on the ground and you want to start with reclining, you can start to move back. Come to sit on this part. All the way in the very, very front. And you got to bring your knees all the way together. So you want to keep coming forward. Yes, and the feet apart. That's the way. Beautiful. Pubic bone down and tailbone to the front of the room. Does that make sense? Find your breath. You can let the eyes be softly open or softly closed. We're going to inhale for 4, pause for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4. Yeah. Tight. If ankles are tight, then you can do this with your ankles at the very edge of the blanket. So come up all the way, come forward a lot. Like go towards the bolsters. Bring your knees towards the bolsters. All the way, all the way, all the way. And now bring your knees onto the blanket. And I'm going to have Camden. So Camden was complaining about the ankles. So complaining is not a bad thing. It's just a bad thing when we don't do anything about it. It's like what we call the kleshas in the yoga tradition. The kleshas are the afflictions. Like we have to acknowledge and recognize the afflictions and then we have to do something about it. So it was ankle pain. I'm just gonna support the front of her ankles with the bolster. Just come back like a little bit this way, yep. And now how's that? Sit back. And if it's not enough, I would just take 2 blankets stacked to give her a little space in the front of the ankles. Better? Flick the toenails down. So again, back to the breathing if we lost connection. I'm not gonna count it because I really want to empower you to find the pace of your breath. Inhale for 4, pause for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4. My respiratory rate tends to be slow, so I either have to count to 4 really slowly or else do 8, 8, 8. So I empower you to find the pattern, the pace that works for you. Laylee, I love that you're going for it. We can just prop you up. And I'm going to do 2 blocks there. How's that for you? Did I make that crooked? You okay there? Have 1 more minute. Let the breath hold your awareness. And maybe stretching, it's called Samavritti, balancing the energy in with the energy out. Especially as we enter the time of year where the energy out is going to be a lot. We have to very consciously and creatively balance the energy in. Maybe stretching your 4 count longer by 1 for the next 3 consecutive breaths. It's not meant to be a competition with the breath or in any way to cause any strain whatsoever. It's really meant to be an elegant dance with your breath, smooth, steady. If the breath had toes, we would not want to step on them. The breath enlivens us and empowers us. The breath animates us. Say 3 more rounds of Samavritti. The inhale, the pause between inhale and exhale, the exhale, and the pause between exhale and inhale. Occupying each phase. And then as you are, stay as you are, just let the breath breathe you, release the last remaining bit of effort there. Just witness the breath as it breathes you. Watch the breath pour in, fill you up, and watch the breath pour out. Now carefully, if you are in Virasana, you're going to want to walk your hands forward and come into tabletop position. If you're in Malasana, you're going to want to walk your hands forward and come into a standing forward fold. In tabletop position, 1 at a time, stretch each leg back behind you, stretch through the sole of the foot, the back of the knee, just to bring circulation back to the knees. And if you are in Malasana and you're going towards Uttanasana, you can take your feet wider and sort of sway or hold elbow to elbow just to release, counter pose in that way. Then as you're ready, you're going to place the blocks, the outer hips width apart, at the front or back of your mat, however you choose to come into Shavasana. Traditionally, we usually turn our feet away from the idols in the room, so feet would be to the back of the room. I'm not one for believing in sacrilege, so I don't I wouldn't like have a heart attack if someone wore their shoes in the studio. It's like happens all the time actually. It's okay. And then you'll take your two bolsters and prop them behind your blocks, and you'll take your legs over the bolsters and your heels on the blocks, and Melissa and I will come around to kind of make your blocks just right. Going for the Goldilocks principle there. You can have a blanket over you if you like. Let's see. Does that feel better or worse? Same? Oh wait, that's not how you had it. My bad. Okay. And so just take the time to make yourself as comfortable as humanly possible. I'm just going to do a comparison here for you as well. Which one?
The higher.
The higher? Maybe just back a little bit. Yeah, you're welcome. And please call us over to help with this. And as you enter into a final rest, allow yourself to receive the unconditional support of gravity, the power of gravity. I'm going to touch you. Which one do you, yeah, better? Yeah. The more you allow yourself to receive the power of gravity, the heavier, the more grounded you become, the more supported you feel. And there's this fascinating way in which the heavier we allow ourselves to be, the lighter we become. And look for the breath. Watch as the breath flows in. And as the breath pours out. And as thoughts arise, as is the nature of the mind, this is no problem. But can you take witnessing your thoughts? What are the nature of your thoughts? Where is the power in your thoughts? For energy follows thought. In what ways do your thoughts reflect or reveal your values? So we investigate the energy of our thoughts. In what way do your thoughts reflect and reveal your power? And any thought, every thought can be traced to a value in your heart of hearts. However, if it's not easy to find that connection, that's when we choose to let go of the stream of thought and return to the flow of the breath. Let the breath hold your vision. And the next time you find yourself following thoughts, again, ask yourself, in what ways do these thoughts reflect and reveal the values of my heart of hearts? In what way are my thoughts connected to the power of the heart? And so your thoughts redirect you to the power of the heart, or else you choose to return to the presence of the breath. Invite a deeper breath in, a longer breath out. As you deepen your breath, feel how naturally your breath deepens you. The breath ignites the heart. The indwelling splendor and light of the heart illuminates and inspires, enlightens and empowers the faculty of your mind and the agency of your body. Here in this gift of conscious breathing embodiment, let the spirit that you are begin to gently awaken the body that you have, with the eyes still closed, in whatever ways naturally feel good, wiggling toes and fingers, stretching through your arms and your legs. And as the spirit that you are gently awakens the body that you have, visualize the body that you have embracing, affirming, and adorning the spirit that you are, literally wrapping yourself around yourself. For you are, and this is the gift of life. Take a moment to bathe, to bask in the indwelling light of the heart and the power that you embody. And a moment to visualize the ways in which you stretch your light, your power, your values into the activities of your daily life, to all that you do. When you feel ready, you can bend your legs. You can feel your feet on your bolsters, your feet on the ground. You can push through your legs if you want to kind of push off of your bolsters. Just to carefully and mindfully roll to one side, especially if you're on support, kind of feel your way as you roll to one side. Press through your arms to find your way into a comfortable seated posture. Sit on your support, Your props, if you like, close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or let the eyes be soft. Bring the hands together before the heart in Anjali Mudra. Final gesture of sincere self-reverence that recognizes the indwelling light, the voice of the true teacher, never further than your heart, which is never further than your breath. And a gesture, again, that places this aspect of ourselves before us as a guide and a courageous, generous offering in all we do. In so doing, bringing more powerful light, more empowered virtuosity to those in the world around us. It's what I live for. I thank you all so much for your presence and your practice, for showing up, for moving and breathing together. And really, more than anything, I thank you all for all that you are and all that you do every single day of this life. As you bow to your heart with all my heart, I bow to every one of you. Thank you all so much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your practice. Thanks for your presence. Yeah, thank you all for all that you do. Again, so much. It's the Sunday of the summer, so I don't want to be talking too much about September just yet, but we have so much happening in September, and really just now as we're sort of expanding into the downstairs space, it's like we are going to be offering more workshops than ever, and I'm just not really sure how we present all that information in a consumable and meaningful way, but just try to check the Instagram or the email. Some of the things are stuff you've asked for. Some of the things are brand new. We're working on a Wim Hof workshop for October. So that's really exciting. That's like breath work and cold plunge, should you choose to plunge into the cold. I find the breath work really empowering and meaningful on its own. I'm a little trepidatious about the cold stuff. I've gotten better over the last couple of years. And if there's anything you want to do or offer, or you want to see us do and offer, please let us know. We have a suggestion box downstairs. We can be reached at info@. And if you have stuff you want us to share on the gram or announce in class, just tag us or let us know so we can support each other in community. And if anyone's doing voter registration, I want to know, because that's the thing I'm